Maybe I forgot my AirPods, so I had to buy cheap JBL ones. I don't know if you can hear me now. Anyways, new series alert. Today we're gonna start off a little bit with something different. I'm gonna go over my entire Switch racing history, league racing history, I should say. It's a new little series we're gonna do. I did a earlier video of this, probably like a year ago now with BRCC, and I just put clips together. We're gonna do a little bit of a commentary style, season by season. That's my plan. So we're gonna start off with the latest league that started. It's basically a story of confusion and celebration. That sounds like a script. Anyways, so let's get looking at the, what's the name of this exactly? I have it a different name. I call it the Assisted Truck League. A couple others do as well. It's actually the Rockstar Truck League. Yep. Yeah, like that logo? Looks pretty good. It's AI. So, let's see how we get along with this series. So who's we, you ask? Well, it's basically a team that's just been made up for this single series that is basically asserting pure dominance on a bunch of newbies in league racing. I present to you Brothers in Caboose Racing. This consists of myself and the 95, and then the dueling brothers of DJ and Pokeboy, who you will see plenty of in future videos. Anyways, the goal for us is pretty simple. We're going to win every single race, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3 in the championship. Mostly because we're out for revenge on one individual. We will cover that in later series, maybe in this one a little bit. But also just because we're bored. We're at this point in league racing where we're kind of just like, okay, I guess we'll join on. So let's take a look at the rest of the field that will be in these events. All right, so up first in the 66, we have Trackhouse. Well, fuck. Anyways, we also have the league owner, Kyle, or KAV, or Cav, however you want to say it, in the 46. Then a couple other newcomers, Rippins in the 48, and then Hammers in this impossible to see 76 truck. I could not see the number ever. And then as well, we'll also have other drivers who make starts throughout the league. We'll cover those if we need to. But for now, that's the lineup. So let's take a quick little rundown at this league. It's a pretty standard rules for these types of leagues. 100% race distance, since they were truck races. Strict cautions, which were an interesting choice. But also, they had AI. Personally, I've always had issues against AI within league racing, especially on this game, because they're just so slow. There's no point in having them. But this is the weird part. 25% assist on everything for settings. You had to run assist. Never have had that before, but okay then. But this is what I actually think led to some massive issues that we'll cover later on. Also, it's just standard playoff format, so, Final Four, whatever, race for the championship, blah, blah, blah. We all hate it. So let's move on to the first race. All right, so we start off with Texas Motor Speedway and the Texas Shootout. There's a lot of Texas in this league, and I guess that kind of worked out for me. But anyways, we showed up, kind of dominate, as you can see from the leaderboard. There weren't many yellows either, so I built this massive gap, and then green light pit stops happened for once. This was like the only time it actually happened in this league, and I won pretty easily. It wasn't much of a threat. I think this was actually the gap at the end of the race, but it just felt good. Yeah, there you go. But hopefully that lasts. I don't think it will. So let's move on to the actual first race of the season, also at Texas. Now, had I known I was going to make these types of videos, I would have actually recorded the start of this race. I didn't. But from the start, seemed actually pretty good. Like, the field was running good. There weren't any major incidents. No one was crazily wrecking or anything. I'm sure the assist helped with that. But no issues. That was a good start. That's what you want in a league. Anyways, a couple of the new guys also were making some time on us, and actually were pretty fast. Trent specifically was really fast. I felt on the opening few laps. Cav and Trackhouse, they've had experience. They were okay at the start, but that was mostly only on the short runs. As the tires aged, the three of us, being Pokeboy and DJ, we just gapped them. 20 laps in, or take a look at those gaps. They weren't as bad as the All-Star race, but they were still pretty bad. I definitely found I was one of the faster ones here, though. For some reason, only at this track, though, I could run the perfect line and just build a gap. And only in this league as well. So I think the settings definitely had something to do with that, and also had something to do with if you had an undercut, you were so much stronger, because the undercut for older tires is better than fresh tires for some reason. Don't ask me how that works, but it does. There was, of course, like a turnover point, but even then, I am blown away I even survived, because Pokeboy had that undercut and was hauling on me the entire final stint, and basically, if it wasn't for the gap I had at one point for pit cycles, I probably wouldn't have won this race. However, we did win. And it is probably going to be the only win we ever have in this league. So let's move on to race 2 at Auto Club. And straight out of the gate, I was absolutely trash here. No idea. I usually liked Fontana in this game. It just didn't go well for me. I got taken out a lot, and my pace just also wasn't good. I don't know if it was a preset. I truly don't know what it was. I was sick the next day. Like, I got sick the next day, so maybe I'll blame it on that. But nothing went well for me that race. I got taken out on the last restart as well. I think by cab. I don't have a clip of it, though. It was just a racing deal. Nothing to come from it, but finished P7. DJ won, and Pokeboy got P2. And from this point forward, peak DJ was released upon the league. So I was gone on vacation, so I didn't race Daytona or race 4 at Atlanta, which means I have absolutely no clips and no idea what happened except for what I've been told. Atlanta, absolutely nothing happened except for some dumb resets because of AI being dumb, this is when the AI issues started creeping up for this league. I don't know why they just randomly started popping up, but they did. It's not like the game was ever being developed anymore. But yeah, it was your average Daytona race. I mean, guys are making stupid moves at stupid times and going for going for the lead for no reason, or trying to make a move that, would make the highlight reel for lap 5. It's your average Daytona race with a kind of open lobby with these guys. They don't have too much experience at this point, but they were getting better. Race Fan also decided to show up. Most people won't know who Race Fan is. I do. I hate him. Anyways, he'll be covered in a lot more leagues, trust me. A lot more. Anyways, we had some AI issues as it proves it covered. I'm sure one of them is popping up on the screen at some point. Now, for those wondering why we don't like Trackhouse, here is a perfect example. We got pushed out a little bit wide. Okay. Hits Pokeboy. Don't know why. Maybe it's just a little issue. Then he goes right into the field and takes out the field and leaves. I call that terrorism. He did that a lot, especially to a single league anyways. Final lap, incredible move here. I don't know how they pulled this off. Race Fan's leading, doesn't cover the top. Huge mistake. Cab's pushing him on the inside. DJ and Pokeboy are locked up on the outside, though. And Cab goes to put it 3 wide. And DJ and Pokeboy in the draft, pushing each other, soar to a beautiful 1-2 finish. Huge choke by the inside line there to let that happen. I don't know how that happened, but it did. So another win for DJ. But I was finally returning for Watkins Glen. So here we go to the only road course on the schedule in this series. Not really surprising. Pretty average race between the three of us. Trackhouse and Race Fan were also relatively decent pace-wise. They just got caught up at the end of it. I found that they just didn't have any speed or had the wrong strategy in mind. In Stage 3, though, there was a bit of a tire conservation strategy, like I said. DJ gapped everyone, and then Pokeboy and myself took an aggressive 2-tire strat to try and keep P2 and P3 from Trackhouse and Race Fan. And it pretty much worked out, except for Pokeboy's random leg spikes. So here's a look at the points after 5 races. Only 3 drivers have actually made all 5 races, which is interesting enough. And then I've also added these stats for the first 5 races. As you can see, Pokeboy has finished second in every single one of those. But this will finally change. So here we go at Phoenix. I've always liked this track. I think us 3 specifically have always loved this track. Pokeboy finally got that win that he's been so desperately looking for, and got rid of his streak of 5 straight top 2 finishes. And actually that continues. He just gets P1 instead of P2. He dominated the end of this race, just plain out faster than me and DJ. DJ did hold on to second, and I did come home third. Going into the points, I am still somehow P3 in the points. I don't know how, even with missing 2 races, but I will take it. Homestead marked the beginning of my misfortunes. This went on basically till the end of the regular season. It just really hurt my points standing. Pokeboy also suffered a DNF in this race for mechanical issues or disconnecting, but it didn't really matter. It was a battle between myself and DJ for the race win, originally. Then we reached the lap cars, and Johnny Sauter, of all people, took me out. The AI of Johnny Sauter just wiped me. And then I got killed by MRM. He's raced in a couple leagues with us and a couple races as well in this league as well. I just haven't covered them. He's just awful. Just terrible. He's lucked into 2 top 5s. I don't know how. One of them, he was 5 laps down and got a lobby reset. This is beyond me how he's even in this league still. Anyways, DJ dominated this race, and I cried. Martinsville was very similar to Homestead. Pokeboy had early issues, and then it was just me and DJ battling for the lead again. I was much weaker on the long run, but then DJ got held up by some lap cars and let me pull away by a good about 2 seconds until apparently my game decided it just wanted to disconnect and not tell me. Usually when you disconnect, the game will give you a little notification. I didn't get one of those. And no one told me for another 10 laps after I was running. So Pokeboy ended up taking this win even with his early issues. But more importantly, I just want to talk about these issues I've had because seemingly it's only happening to me. So the league basically ignored this connection issue that was going on. But I was fine in every other league I was running, so I definitely believe there was something wrong with the settings and how we had this league set up that only ruined me at the start. So Darlington will mark the final race of the regular season, and just straight out of the gate, I somehow won stage 1. I don't know how, but I did, and I will absolutely take that, which is cool. I found pace was actually relatively okay in this race as well. I don't think it would have been race winning, but I think it would have been definitely a top 3 kind of run for me. But also noteworthy, with the higher wall avoidance assist being allowed for some people, if you wanted to run it, you were actually at a bit more of an advantage at this track, just because you run up against the wall at Darlington so much. And so those with those higher wall avoidance assist definitely benefited a lot more in the turns. Come stage 3, though, I was feeling pretty good. Maybe had a better chance of winning than I thought at the first stage. And then I got the disconnected glitch, so it didn't really matter. Yay! Anyways, Racefan also made his return for this race. And he and Trackhouse, like most people, did not like each other. But they more just hated each other. Which meant come the end of the race, they would just throw the roebuck out and cause carnage, which caused a pileup in the final corner, mostly caused by Trackhouse, and let Trackhouse win. Yep, so our challenge of winning every single race is over. So we have now arrived at the playoffs part of this season, and because we let AI be a part of the points, I didn't need to run a single race in the first round, and that is exactly what I did. So here's a summary of the 2 events that I missed. The more assists you had for Bristol, the better chance you had of winning was basically the strategy, which we, of course, did know, which meant Hammer got his first career win from DJ. Nice little surprise win there. And then come at Talladega, Pokeboy just cooked like Prime Dale Jr. That's all I got there. Also, we have now finally added a rule for if you get DC'd by the game for no reason and it doesn't show up for you and the lag happens and the AI all get held up, we will do a lobby reset. Clearly it wasn't me then. That's nice that we've only done that now and I've got wrecked out of 3 races because of it. In other news, DJ has also informed me and Pokeboy that he is not running the remainder of the season due to the races being moved to a later start time, which just he couldn't partake in them then. So it now means it's just the 2 of us to assert dominance on this field for this championship. Oh, and also it was never clearly mentioned to me that points carry over each round and they aren't reset, so therefore I'm already in a must-win to make the championship 4. Great. Here's the messages I got explaining this whole fiasco. I don't even understand it. Don't ask me. I don't want to even want to read it again or explain it. Let's just go win Texas. Back to my bread and butter, apparently, in this series. Me and Pokeboy basically led most of this race, dominated. The AI and the other guys were kind of wrecking a lot, and it led to 0 green flag pit stops. But we didn't have any issues with lap cars, which was a nice turn of events. But we took our final pit stop there, but another caution came out. And this time on the restart, disaster strike. At this point, I'm fuming and only seeing red. My championship hopes are likely over if I cannot win this race. But then, I locked in and became prime Corey Heim.
NASCAR overtime, 5 wide up front. Parsons on the outside. Here comes Ty Majeski, the 98.
Look at Corey Heim. Can he clear him?
So here we come from basically last to the lead to come back and win at Texas. We're back, championship bound. Let's go get a championship. But a little weird addition here is that you had to race both Kansas and Charlotte, the next 2 races, in order for your win to still count to make the final race for the championship. If that makes any sense, here's the text messages. It was another weird rule that kind of confused me. Now we're locked in to the Final Four. We're going to help Pokeboy try to get this win at Kansas. We also had a lot of AI issues here. So this is the common, like, AI gets stuck or drivers disconnected. So we raced until the last restart, and it basically sounded like we wouldn't do the last lap because the AI issues, and they were, like, stuck in turn 1. So after we crossed for the white flag, I assumed that we were just, like, running back around to finish the race. And I was just playing around, and Tragos got really mad, but yeah. So welcome to the Charlotte All-Star race, if we can call it that. Basically, here's kind of the rundown of this race, because it really did not matter. You had to run in this race to keep your win eligible, so specifically for me and Pokeboy, we had to race and not start in park. As long as that happens, nothing was going to change with the points. Like, even if you win this race, you would not be locked in because it's an all-star race and not a points-paying race. But we still gave points, but just lesser points that were on offer. Me and Pokeboy had some interesting moments, to say the least. But it was fun. We all both came back to our 1-2, and Pokeboy was kind of tying DJ for wins if you include this all-star race. So it was a big deal for him. But we're all just focused now for Indy. That's all we care about, is going out there and trying to win the championship. So let's get straight into Indianapolis. Nothing really happened in Stage 1, but 3 of the championship contenders, you can probably guess who, at the end of Stage 2, all kind of wrecked. And it kind of put a big damper on my initial strategy that I planned out from practice and pre-race. However, it did end up becoming a massive advantage because it let us become offset on our strategies. And led to us leading comfortably both the race and the championship with 10 to go, and then a caution came out. So now we're restarting on my older tires. I had no heat, and I slid through the grass, losing a bunch of positions, kind of very Texas-esque as a way, leading to Pokeboy taking control of the championship. So into 3 and 4 here, Trackhouse just makes a horrific move, takes out an AI and Cav, causes the caution. Then another caution comes out later on after this, apparently also caused by Trackhouse. You would never guess that, which leads to our fuel being extremely tight. We realistically only have enough for one more restart. It's going to be me versus Pokeboy, as Trackhouse and Caviar both need to pit with fresh tires. They're too far back. They don't really have much to do. So Pokeboy led to the white, and Trackhouse was unsuccessful at causing another caution. So coming down the backstretch one last time in the draft, there was only one singular thing I could do to win this championship. Shoot up past Pokeboy through 3, and all we gotta do now is get to the line and hope to God we have enough fuel.
Does BMan have enough fuel coming down to the yard of bricks? Yes, he does! BMan is gonna win at Indianapolis and win the championship!
God, the AI voice is actually really weird, but had that line been 100 feet farther, we are not winning that championship. But somehow we do, and we are the champions of, let's call it, the Assisted Truck League. Don't know how we pulled that off. Here is a look at the final season stats and points as well, if you want to take a look at that. Overall, this was an interesting series that was decently thought out, but at the end there were some pretty apparent flaws that showed. At the end of the day, it was a single season of a single league, and I have a lot more of these to cover. So thank you for tuning in. Check out all the links below for stats, Switch League channel, all that stuff, and we'll see you in the next one.